Okay, how does this look? Guys, I think this lip gloss is expired, yet I still put it on. So I watched 28 movies in January, and what I'm gonna do in this video is give you guys my short little synopsis of it. It's not gonna be that good. Then I'm gonna give my rating. By the way, let me just set the record clear for my rating system right now, because I know it confuses a lot of people, but I don't have like a really critical rating system. Let me just get into it. I was going over how I rated movies and it was really long, so I'm gonna make it short and sweet. Half a star means it was probably the worst movie I've ever seen. A single star, it's a step up from the worst. 2 stars is it was okay, but it was probably boring and missing a lot of aspects. 3 stars, that's where most of the movies that I like end up. So 3 stars is really like neutral. It means I liked the movie, but it wasn't any higher than that. You know, it was just like a good time. 4 stars means it was show-stopping, spectacular, out of this world. Like, it was giving what needed to be gave, but it didn't exceed my expectations, but it was also really good. And then 5 stars exceeds my expectations, has me thinking about life, staring up at the ceiling, not knowing what to do or say, like just mind-blowing. And yeah, that's my rating system. All right. On January 8th, that is when I watched my first movie, and you may be asking, oh, how did you get 28 movies in then? Because you started a little late in the month. You will see. You will see. I was still kind of on break then from school. So starting off January, I watched I Believe in Unicorns, and I rated it 5 stars. The best way I would describe this movie is what people use when they are hating on the movie, and they say it's like a Tumblr post circa 2014, like a teenage girl's Tumblr, but I vibed with it. I really loved all the cinematography and the colors, and I loved her room. Like, that's just so cute to me. I love maximalism. The general premise basically is this 16-year-old girl, I think, like she just turned 16. It's been a while since I watched it. She just turned 16, and she falls for this older guy. He's like out of high school. He should be like, he's college age, but he's not in college. He's kind of just, you know, stoner vibes. So she like falls for him, and it's basically following that story. And their relationship is really toxic, but I really enjoyed it. And like, if that's your cup of tea, you know, not everyone is gonna enjoy that. Like in a film that doesn't really say much, and it's more just like surrounding the visuals, which I love. I love visuals. Look, I am a sucker for visuals. If a movie has good visuals, but the message was kind of mediocre, I'm gonna like it. I don't know what else you want from me. But yeah, that was a good one. All right, next movie, The Iron Claw. I watched The Iron Claw with my family in the theaters. I gave it a 5 stars, okay? I gave it 5 stars, and I knew going into it that it was gonna be sad. I knew it was a true story. I kind of vaguely knew about the tragedy, but watching it and seeing everything fall apart, like the way that Zac Efron is not gonna get an Oscar for that performance, like he really ate. He ate in this movie. Zac Efron, rise up. But yeah, so basically The Iron Claw is about the Von Erich brothers, and they were like a wrestling family in the early 1980s. So most of the brothers were wrestling. The father was like, so he was an ex-wrestler, and then he wanted his sons to follow in his footsteps, and they like wanted to as well, but he put a lot of pressure on them, and there was a lot of pressure. It's a movie about a lot of like pressure and just like, you know, wanting to live up to your dad's expectations or live up to your own expectations. And it was just a very heartfelt movie, and I loved it. And I gave it 5 stars just because, like I said, a movie that makes me feel, a movie that makes me stare up at the ceiling when it's over, a movie that makes me cry, like, it's gonna get 5 stars. But the movie is really sad. The movie is really sad. And if you're gonna go watch it, just know that. Just know that. Don't, like, when I first saw the trailer, I was like, oh, it's just a wrestling movie. The third movie I watched was on January 9th, and that is Disco Pigs. This has Cillian Murphy. Disco Pigs is basically about these 2 besties. They were born in the same hospital, born on the same day, and then they live together, like live right next to each other, and they're just like best friends, same age. You know, it's kind of giving The Kissing Booth. Or I guess you could say the kissing booth is Disco Pigs. Like somebody watched Disco Pigs, I guess. But this one's a lot darker. Killian is known for taking on those darker roles. He loves his little dark roles. But basically it's a movie about like obsession. It's Pig and Runt. So Pig is Killian and Runt is the girl, I forgot her name. What's her name? Let's see. Runt is Elaine Cassidy and Pig is Cillian Murphy. And basically Pig is falling for Runt. Because they're like older now and like feelings, and Runt's kind of not reciprocating those feelings. She's like, I just want to be friends. I just want it to go back to the way it was, like we're besties, let's not be weird. But he's like, no, I'm literally in love with you. So yeah, that's that's the premise. It's another like artsy film where like nothing really happens, but everything does. I gave this one a 3.5 stars, I think. And the reason why I gave it 3.5 was just because, like I said, sometimes it feels like nothing's happening. But also, it was good. Also, I was feeling captivated by the performance, and Cillian Murphy is scary. Cillian Murphy. But I also love him. I also love him. Alright, following the trend of Cillian Murphy, I've wanted to watch this for a while. It's been in my list, and it's on Tubi. Tubi, you're a real one. This one is Watching the Detectives, and it's starring Cillian Murphy and Lucy Liu, and it's a rom-com. Okay, this is the, so far as like, as far as I know, this is the only rom-com that Cillian Murphy has been in. And I'm just asking everybody, why? Why is that? Why did we not put him in more rom-coms? Because he literally ate. He's so funny. First of all, I was laughing. I was laughing it up. This movie was actually really funny. Like, they took rom-com seriously. This movie is basically about he's a video store owner, but you know, there's starting to like be bigger and better video stores. Like let's say he's an independent video store owner, and then Blockbuster opens down the street, and he's like, oh my god, like they're gonna run me out of my business, like things are falling apart, my life is falling apart, you know. And then he meets Lucy Liu's character, and she's like this very spontaneous, fun woman who is like, you know what, you're like, she doesn't want to just stay still, basically. Like she's always pranking and plotting like adventures and stuff because she doesn't want her life to feel boring. Like she wants fun. And I'm like, that's actually so relatable. Like everybody wants to have fun. Everybody wants to pretend to be somebody they're not, or like just vibe. And I thought that was really cute. And also it's giving one of my favorite tropes, which is kind of like the outgoing person and the introvert. Like it's just fun. And I'm seeing myself in Killian's character, but like I'm seeing my wants in Lucy Liu's character. Like, anyway, I gave it a 5. You probably already saw that coming. You probably already saw the 5-star review coming. But yeah, I give it a 5 because what else do you want from me? So the next movie I watched was Mean Girls. This was very interesting because a lot of people going into this didn't understand that it was based off of the musical. So it was kind of like High School Musical, the series. Mean Girls, the musical, the movie. And I think they did really well. I think it was really good. Still loved Karen. Still loved... I loved all the characters. Like, I felt like, you know, it was good for what it was. Like, not comparing it to Mean Girls, just having it be on its own. Because that's kind of like how you're supposed to view it anyway. I gave it a 3. I feel like it... At first I gave it a 4, but I pushed it back down to a 3 because I feel like I'm probably not gonna rewatch it. And there were just a few like places where it fell flat, which were kind of like, you know, like just they didn't, like, if you're gonna take a musical and then turn it to a movie, you're gonna get some disappointment because some people are gonna be like, oh, you didn't put in this song, or oh, you didn't do this, or like, you know, because musicals are pretty long usually, and then if you have to like cut out stuff for the movie, it's kind of like, oh, well, yeah. So I gave it a 3. That still means I enjoyed it though. It was very good, and yeah. Also, I didn't give a description for that because we all know Mean Girls, right? I'm assuming. Next movie, Just One of the Guys. This came out in 1985. Just One of the Guys was so progressive for its time. Like, the premise is literally like she wants to be a journalist, but she's not being taken seriously, she feels like, because she's a girl. So she goes to a different school dressed up as a guy, and she's like, I'm gonna write a paper as a guy and see if I get more recognition that way. And so it's kind of just like, you know, I like the premise as well. It's like I said, very progressive for the 80s. So I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it. It was good. It had its flaws. It had some, you know, dull moments, but it was still enjoyable. Can I just say that the main actress, what is her name? Joyce Heiser? So androgynous. I knew that they knew that what they were doing, but she literally ate. She was giving everything. Terry Femme presenting and then Terry Mass presenting. Like, they knew, they ate with the premise. All right, next movie, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead with Christina Applegate. This movie, guys, this is from 1991. It also has Josh Charles. Can I just say, he's gonna come up again later, like soon. We love Josh Charles, but Christina Applegate is in this, and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead is another movie I watched when I was younger, and it's just like a classic. So I'm gonna get this out of the way right now. I gave it 5. Gave it 5 stars. This movie is basically about it's a family of a lot of kids, like a single mom who works 2 jobs, she's leaving. The mom is leaving and she's going, I forgot where she's going actually. Wow, my memory is terrible. But she's leaving and she's having a well-deserved vacation for taking care of all those kids, okay? But she's not leaving her oldest, which is Christina Applegate's character, Sue Ellen, in charge. She has a babysitter. The babysitter is like super old and she ends up biting the dust. She ends up and there's other things that ensue, but I don't want to spoil too much because that happens in like the first literally like maybe 15 minutes of the movie. And there's a lot that goes on. Like, it's really good. I hope that description wasn't bad. Like, just check it out. It's also on Tubi. This is not sponsored. Of course it's not, but I love Tubi. It's just too good. Now, these I watched on the same night, okay? It was January 13th, okay? I watched them on the same night. It was January 13th, like, into the nighttime, so it was after 12. So it was early January 13th, I guess. So I had the thrilling, amazing, show-stopping idea to watch 2 of the most heart-wrenching, saddest movies ever. Like, they'll leave you feeling empty inside. And you know what those 2 movies are? Hang on, the train's coming. We'll come back to this. Help. Mysterious Skin and Requiem for a Dream. Why? First of all, I figured, I was like, okay, these 2 movies I've been avoiding like the plague, so why not get them both out of the way? Okay, so we started with Mysterious Skin. I gave it a 5. I gave Mysterious Skin a 5. But I have no words. I actually have no words. Like, that was probably the most insane cinematic experience I've ever went through. Like, I can't explain it. All I can say is that it's super disturbing. Like, people are not lying. I didn't think they were lying, but they are not. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. The movie is about these 2, like, it follows the lives of these 2 boys who are from the same town, and you kind of like they lead different, why was I giving Sid this a lot there? They lead different lives, and you can see that from their past, basically. One boy can't remember his past, and another boy can, like, really remembers his past. You can see how, like, it affects both of them. And all I can say is look up trigger warnings for sure. Like, do not go into this without looking up trigger warnings. I kind of already knew what it was about, so I just like watched it because I knew, but like it was also still like so much, like a lot. Even if you look up trigger warnings, just be aware that there's a lot of disturbing imagery in this movie. But yeah, look up those trigger warnings. Do not watch without looking those up. That is very important for any movie really, but when you know that a movie is very disturbing and has, you know, disturbing elements, you want to look up trigger warnings. Yeah, I gave it 5 stars. It was very sad and I did feel empty after. I did stare at my ceiling. I did cry. Like, I was just, we have to move on. I'm like going back into what I was feeling during this movie. Okay, Requiem for a Dream. This one I feel like I don't get me wrong, at the end I also felt dead inside, just empty. Like, I was like, what are we doing? And I know that this man, like, I have beef. I literally have beef with Darren Aronofsky because I watched The Whale whenever it came out. I forgot. I watched The Whale. What? Why? What is this? I also watched Black Swan. I liked Black Swan. But why is this man like this? He can't give... I know he doesn't get, like, happy endings aren't his forte. He's like, I'm not... You're not... Like, he wants everyone to feel empty inside. And I get it. I understand. But... Bro. I gave it 3 stars, by the way. I gave it 3 stars. The reason why I gave this one 3 stars, I feel like Requiem for a Dream did have a story, of course, but it kind of just follows the course of, like, deterioration. It's kind of like you're watching somebody's downfall the entire movie, which I've seen movies like that, but not like this. Not like this. Okay, I guess I have The Whale, but it's literally only Darren Aronofsky that he's eating it up. He's eating it up, you know. But I gave it a 3. I enjoyed it, but I also was like, me here again. I was so distraught, and so I went too hard on my beef with Darren Aronofsky that I forgot to give you guys a description of the movie. But it's basically about you're following the lives of multiple people as their life slowly spirals downhill from drug abuse. So yeah, definitely need trigger warnings for that one. And like I said, it is a beautifully shot movie, and maybe I should watch it on its own. I think I was just dealing with too much tragedy that day. I couldn't take it anymore. I don't know, maybe if I watch it again someday, I will change the score. I thought it was beautifully shot. I thought it was a beautiful movie in terms of cinematic, but the cinematics weren't saving it because now I have beef with this man. Like, let someone be happy. I don't know. Like, I was freaking... First of all, Jared Leto gives me the ick, but he was okay here. Like, he was younger. And Harry and Marion... What? What's up, dude? Are you okay? Guys, let's get Darren Aronofsky a therapist. No. Maybe I'll have to watch Requiem for a Dream on its own, because watching 2 sad movies, like, you can't really compare them. Like, they're both sad in their own right, but also Darren. No. Anyway, we're going upbeat now, guys. We went back. I was like, we can't keep watching sad movies on one. This is not the way to start out the year. The next movie that I watched was Pretty Woman. At first, I didn't want to watch it. At first, I was like, no, I'm not watching this movie. I'm not in a rom-com mood. I just freaking broke my heart into a million little pieces by watching these 2 terribly sad movies. My friend Ash, shout out to Ash if you're watching this. I made the video, first of all. She told me to watch it, and I was like, I trust you, and I'm gonna watch this. It was great. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was really cute. I forgot to do a description for this one as well, so let's keep it short and sweet. Basically, Vivian is a sex worker, and she comes across a rich guy. Why am I forgetting his name? I literally suck at names. And he, you know, takes her for the night, but then they just like kind of grow a bond and they stick together for a while, and you're just following them throughout the movie, and it was really good. So check it out. I know that sucks, but this video is already so long. It was very cute, very real. Vivian is real. Vivian is relatable, and I feel like that's why this movie got 4 stars for me, because she's literally so real. Like, it was realistic, and when you make it realistic, I mean, was the concept realistic? No, not really. That's rarely ever gonna happen, but that's what movies are for. But Vivian herself was realistic, and that was enough for me, so I gave it 4 stars. Okay, next movie, Threesome. This movie is from 1994. Again, on Tubi, I found it, and this one has Josh Charles in it. Basically, wait, it also has Stephen Baldwin, who is Hailey Bieber's father. I think, right? I always get confused with the Baldwins. You know what? Doesn't even matter. Yes, he gives me the ick in real life, and he gave me the ick in this movie. But Josh Charles. Basically, this movie is about 3 friends in college, and then they like kind of start this throuple like relationship, kind of, you know. It's really hard to like describe this. Basically, it's a love triangle thing going on. Yeah, great movie. You know, for what it was, like, I enjoyed it. I wasn't bored. I watched it with my friend Ash, and I feel like maybe if I was watching it alone, it would have been less entertaining. I just felt like us reacting to what was happening in the movie just made it so much better. So one thing you should learn from this video is, if you don't really watch movies a lot, get your best friend and watch the movies, and you'll just breeze through them. Next movie was Society of the Snow. I gave this one 5 stars. It's about based off the true story about a rugby team is going from Uruguay to Chile. Yeah, and it crashes in the Andes, it's horrific. This entire movie, just like, I was at a loss for words. I watched with my family. It's crazy. Like, I can't fathom. I can't fathom if that were me. Like, no, I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they did it. That is like next level survival skills right there. Like, the next movie that I watched was The Boys in the Boat. If you watched The Society in 2019, if you know, you know. Grizz is in this, and he didn't really talk that much, but that was real. That was real. It just like gave me flashbacks, and it was a cool movie. It was a cool movie. I did get like a jarring jump scare halfway through, or like close to the end. If you watch the movie, you know. And I get it, 'cause history, but also wow. Whoa, I was just like, okay. The romantic subplot was a little, I don't really care. Like, I'm watching this for the boys in the boat. That's what the movie is called, okay? I want to see what happens to them. But yeah, I gave it 3 stars for the reasons that I said. But yeah, it was an enjoyable movie all around. It was good. It gave what needed to be given. Next movie was The Florida Project. I've been wanting to watch this since like it came out in 2017. I saw so many people making edits and stuff like that. But every time I've wanted to watch it, Netflix is like, we're pulling it out. We're taking it off of our platform. And I'm like, bro, I literally want to watch this movie. Can you let me? And finally I caught it. Finally I made it. And I was like, you know, I need to watch this before they literally take it off again. And I have to wait eons for them to put it back on. I don't know what's up with that. What's going on? Why do they keep putting it on and taking it off? What are you doing? I need to go to Netflix's headquarters and see what's going on there. But this one, 5 stars, rightfully so. If you want to feel nostalgic and sad that your childhood is gone, watch this movie. But also, it's just really sad in itself, and like, it's so realistic. It's so good. Like, you watch this and you're like, oh my god, I'm a kid again. I'm literally a kid again. Like, this is insane. And you just see yourself in these like children, and it's like, I had to give it 5 stars. It was beautiful. Like I said, like, I feel like this is the type of movie to watch during the summer when you're just like missing those childhood summers that you would have. This next movie is Boyhood. I watched this when I might have watched it when I was 13 or 14. I can't really remember, but when I first watched it, I really enjoyed it because I love the premise. I love that the director filmed it over 12 years. I know some people were like, it was a snooze fest, it was boring. He only got recognition because he filmed it over 12 years. But I really liked it when I was younger. I enjoyed it, so I wanted to rewatch it. And I still enjoyed it. I gave it a 5. I just really love movies that are just people's lives. Like I said, where nothing is happening but everything is happening. I love those types of movies. Like, give me a movie where people are just vibing and I will eat it up. Like, that's so real to me. Those are my favorite types of movies. You will always get a 5 star from me when I'm watching those movies. Like, to some of y'all that didn't like Boyhood, I understand. But to the ones that did, I also understand. It's a masterpiece. Like I said in my Letterboxd review, chef's kiss. This next one I put down, Twin Peaks. I know it's not a movie, but when I saw the literal length of the pilot episode, I think it was 1 hour and 36 minutes, my jaw hit the floor. I was like, why is this a feature-length film? And then there was more episodes after that. Like, wait a second, what is going on? So I said this counts. I said I'm putting this down for a movie because I sat there to watch the whole thing, and I finished the first season. I'm on the 2nd season now, but I really enjoyed it. It's really weird and freaky and ahead of its time. Like, it feels so like futuristic, yet you also know it does take place in the 90s, but I can tell why people love it. And it also has the PNW aesthetic. Like, I live for that. I want to live somewhere where it's super rainy all the time. And I know people are like, no you don't. Yes I do. Yes I do. How are you gonna tell me what I want to know? Back again. Literally, why did I keep forgetting to give descriptions? So Twin Peaks is a mystery show, and it follows the what do you call it, investigation of one of the beloved teens in town named Laura Palmer. She was murdered, so they bring in the FBI, and they try to solve the murder, and it's super good, super creepy, super weird. I feel like not everyone loves it, but if you do love it, you love it. This is a movie I found on Tubi. Again, we love Tubi. But this one is called Secretary with Maggie Gyllenhaal and James Spader. And I recently found out that James Spader is the like mean rich guy, I forgot his name, in Pretty in Pink. And I was like, oh my god, that is him. Wait a second, what's happening? This movie is basically about, how do you just, like, she's a very troubled, shy woman. She just got out of a mental hospital and she's trying to, you know, integrate back into society again, and she can type really fast, so she gets a job as a secretary. But the secretary is kind of out of pocket, wild. Basically, he is, what do you call it? Basically, they like ensue in like a sexual kind of relationship, like BDSM type. I forgot what all the words meant in BDSM. Guys, listen, I could look it up, but I'm lazy. And my battery is about to die right now. Are you kidding me? Hang on. Give me a second. This is sick, truly. So, as I was saying, basically like a sexual relationship between boss and secretary. This was really good. I gave it a 3 stars. I thought it... The pigeons are here, guys. The pigeons! I thought it was very entertaining. I honestly might bump up my score if I ever watch this again. I feel like I gave it a 3 just because I did watch it like late at night and I was kind of tired and I was like, okay, but for the ending alone, I might give it 4 stars in the future. But right now I'm just gonna keep it at 3. I'm gonna stop being super indecisive. But this was really good. This was really good. I really enjoyed it. I do recommend one watch if my terrible description made you want to watch it. Honestly, guys, please look up the descriptions online if they sound interesting from me, because mine are terrible. They're not good. This next one, Lars and the Real Girl with Ryan Gosling. Again, I found it on Tubi. And I had never heard of this movie before, but it was just so good. And I feel like, editing me here, I feel like Lars and the Real Girl gives great neurodivergent representation. And you guys should watch it. It was so good. This movie is basically about this guy named Lars, and he lives in like the guest house by his brother, his older brother. And it's basically just like following his everyday life. But one day he's like, he gets a girlfriend, but his girlfriend is a sex doll. And he doesn't see her as a sex doll, obviously. He bought her because he like wanted to make his own perfect girlfriend. And he just, you know, didn't really resonate with the people around him. And he was like, here I can resonate with her because like she, you know, he basically like created her in his head. And the reason why this movie was so good is just the community around Lars and just like the entire premise. It was just so beautiful. Like, you need to watch this one. This is another one that I highly recommend. And it was just great. And I'm so glad Tubi gave me this movie to watch, because without Tubi, I never would have watched it. But I gave this one a 5. It was just so cute and so real and beautiful. Too good. Okay, next movie is Sleeping with Other People. At first, I gave this one a 5, okay? But then I lowered it to a 4, guys, because I realized, okay, it wasn't like, it's not in my 5 masterpiece. It was just a really good rom-com to me. But this one is basically about 2 adults who knew each other in college briefly, and then they meet each other in the future. And one is like a serial cheater, and the other is like, he can't stay in one relationship. Yeah, and then they meet each other again, and they kind of like are wanting to be friends without like they just want to be friends. They're like, we're not gonna mess up our life, like we're just gonna be platonic, we don't want anything to get messy basically. But I really enjoyed this one. Next movie, Little Fish. Little Fish, you guys, this was one of my favorite movies in January. So good that I put it into my top 4 on Letterboxd. Okay, the movie is about this this couple who are living in this dystopian society where basically everyone is getting a disease that is like Alzheimer's. So they are losing their memory at a rapid pace, and it can happen to anybody. It can literally happen to anybody of any age, and it's happening rapidly. Because Alzheimer's, I'm pretty sure that that could also happen to anybody at any age, but it's more rare for it to happen to younger people, and it's also more rare for it to happen like to younger people like all around the globe, you know? So like the older you get, the more it might happen, like the more it weighs on you that it could happen to you. But in this world, like you literally do not know. You're literally just like in the dark. You're like, oh, like you just have to keep living life while you see other people around you just suddenly lose their memory. And it happens so like rapidly, and it's crazy, and it's just this movie is so beautiful. The cinematography, the score, the relationship, like if there's one movie you watch from this video, it's gotta be Little Fish. Did I say I give 5 stars? I think that was a given. After that one, again, I had to watch comedy. I couldn't watch sad movies. And so I finally watched Detroit Rock City with my dad. It was very good, but the amount of F slurs in this, a little concerning. I know, when was it? 1999. I don't know, maybe that was a little cut, like the cutoff. Like, let's relax, guys. Let's relax with, like, y'all, that's y'all's favorite word. Like, you guys are loving it. But this movie is about four childhood besties. They love Kiss. They love the band Kiss. So they're like, so they have tickets for, wait, I think it also, yeah, it takes place in 1978. So it was made in 1999, but the vibes are 78. So they have tickets for Kiss, but then they lose said tickets. So the night of the concert, they have to figure out how to get tickets. Like, the whole premise of this movie is they are going to see that Kiss concert no matter what. And I basically was like, wow, people aren't fighting for their lives for concert tickets anymore like this. Like, you see people and they'll be like, I fought for my life to get this ticket, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, you didn't. Have you seen Detroit Rock City? They did. They fought for their lives. But yeah, I gave this a 4 out of 5. It was very good. I really enjoyed it. The only reason I knocked it was, again, all those slurs. And also, I feel like it was a little slow at times, but also not too much. Like, not too much. And it was very enjoyable. Like I said, 4, pretty good. The next movie I watched was Saved. Can I just say, I love the Culkin brothers so much. Like, they're amazing. Literally amazing in their own rights. And Macaulay Culkin is in this movie. That's why I brought them up. And I wish he was in more movies. Older, like, he is a great actor. He's a great actor. Macaulay Culkin come back? No. But this movie is about a girl who, she goes to a Christian high school, okay? That's what I should say right off the bat. She has her friend, she has her boyfriend, but then her boyfriend, it turns out to be gay. He tells her that he's gay, and she's like, no. She's like, no, I can save you. I can fix this. Everything's fine. We got this. And then she ends up pregnant. So it just like goes downhill from there. I just thought this movie was super sweet, super good, and that ending is probably what gave it like 4 stars for me, because I might have just given it 3, but I just love how it ended. And I also just love like the friendships and like it was too good. I also recommend this one if you just want something fun. We're at the 26th now. I haven't been saying the days, but we're at the 26th of January, and I watched After Everything with my sister. Can I just say that if I watched this by myself, I would not have kept watching past like 2 minutes. Like I was already over it. I was done. I was like, oh my god, where am I? This is the only movie I gave half a star to. Rightly so, because what was that? What happened? Okay, I had to cleanse my palate after that movie. Oh, also, I'm not gonna explain it because I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. If you're curious, it's After Everything. It's the last movie in the franchise. Couldn't tell you a thing. Couldn't tell you a thing. Now we're getting into my trying to watch every single Oscars Best Picture nomination before the Oscars. The only one that I had watched before from last year, the only one that I watched last year was Barbie. That's it. And I was like, wow. No, I can't just go in only knowing Barbie. Like, I need to watch some of these movies. So I decided to turn on Anatomy of a Fall. Anatomy of a Fall was so good. I was already going into it with high expectations. But can I just say it was so fun seeing the French court system. There was so much going on there. I was like, there's no way this is real. There's no way French people are real. No. I feel like it was comparable to like a mystery book that I'm reading. Like, it felt so good. I don't know if it is a book, but it felt like an adaptation and a good one at that. And I just really liked it. I liked how the whole time, like, it was kind of making you question your like morality and like stuff like that. Like, you're just like, wait a second, I didn't, hang on. Oh, also the hot judge, like, but yeah, it was so good. I gave it a 4.5. The only reason I didn't give it a 5 was probably because some points I was kind of like, where are we going with this? But like, it also makes sense because it's kind of, that's the whole point. Like, it's very raw and you're like in the court a lot of the time, and there's a lot of things that are kind of like going somewhere and then you're like, wait, but it's trying to throw you off, you know what I mean? So I gave it a 4.5, and I really enjoyed it and it was really good. Besides that, I feel like the pacing was okay. It was just long, and long movies sometimes they lose me, but it was good overall, and I do recommend this. The next movie I watched was Blue Velvet, because I was like, okay, I'm watching Twin Peaks. Let's watch one of this man's movies. Let's see what he brings to the table. Blue Velvet is a story about a young college kid who comes home from college because his dad has a heart attack. And then walking in the field one day, he finds a severed ear. And then from there, he just basically becomes Sherlock Holmes, I guess. Like, but what I will say though is, from the description, I was kind of like, what? I'm so lost. But the movie exceeded that description. Like, it really threw everything out there. Like, you did not know what was going on. You were so lost, but then you were also intrigued and like you wanted the story to keep going, but you also were scared. How many of y'all were scared? But I gave it a 3.5. The only reason I didn't give it a 4 was because of the pacing, and also just like some parts I was just like, what? But it was beautifully shot. The cinematography, chef's kiss, beautiful. I saw somebody's review on Letterboxd and they said, for a movie called Blue Velvet, this man sure did put in a lot of red. And I was like, no, that's real. Like, where was all the blue? Where was the blue? Like, I get it because the song is a prominent aspect of the movie, but I love blue. Blue's my favorite color. Maybe I would have given it an extra star if you put in more blue. Okay, we're down to our last 2 movies, and these last 2 movies are 2 movies in the Best Pictures category. So the first one is The Holdovers. At first, after watching this, I gave it a 4. But then I gave it a 5 because I was like, no, this was a great movie. I loved it. It deserves a 5. Like, it was so good. And it's a new classic. And I'm adding it to my Christmas watch party. Like, every year, I'm watching this. I don't care if my family's like, no, that's not a class. I'm literally turning this on. I'm turning it on. Like, it was too good. This is about a kid in a prep school. And he's like, kind of, you know, like, he acts out a lot and he's just super rude to all like anyone, you know, authority or whatever, and but he has to stay over during the holiday break because his parents won't come and pick him up, and he has to stay with one of the professors that is like known as like the most rude, worst professor that nobody wants to stay with, or just like be around in general. And so he has to stay, and they are staying at the prep school together for winter break, and chaos ensues. This movie was just so beautifully shot. I love the aesthetic. It takes place in the 70s, I'm pretty sure, and the 70s aesthetic, loved the 70s fashion, just 70s everything. Can I just say the bowling balls were literally so tiny, like they were this big, like you hold them in your hand like this, and it was just a beautiful movie, very heartfelt. And Dominic Sessa, he plays Angus, I forgot his name. This was his first film, and I would love for him to get an Oscar. I would love for him to get an Oscar. He probably won't because Oppenheimer and the actors in Oppenheimer. No. But he was just so good. That's like insane to me. Like he ate it. He ate up he said, yeah, I'm getting into this acting biz. Like I'm The Holdovers. So good. Loved it. Please go watch it. This is one of the Oscar nominations that I recommend. I ended off the month with Killers of the Flower Moon. This one was a doozy, and I was like, you know, I have to get it out of the way. I have to watch it because if I don't watch it now, I never will. And my mom had already seen it, but she agreed to watch with me again, and I was like, thank you. Thank you, because I would not have watched this on my own. Like, it's just too long. My attention span is terrible these days. TikTok has ruined my life. I'm so glad I watched it, even though I had to see that man on my screen. I can't, like, too much Leo DiCaprio. That's my complaint. Too much Leo DiCaprio. Yeah, I still gave it a 5 because Lily Gladstone was amazing. Every time she was on screen, she was captivating. She made me feel goosebumps, chills. Also just like the general premise, I feel like it was very well told story. A lot of people were talking about how the ending was kind of, and I agree, I was kind of like, what's going on here? But it was a very well told story. Like most people wouldn't know about the story. I didn't know about that story. I feel like as directors, it's amazing to use your platform to give voices to this history and have also actual indigenous actors in your movies, because you see so much like whitewashing in Hollywood, and I just feel like this was beautifully told. Yeah, so I gave it a 5, and those are all the movies that I watched in January. I'm gonna have to cut this video down so much, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's really messy. I hope it gets better in the future, but I'm planning on doing these every single month. Let's hope. I started watching my movies for February. A lot of them are going to be romantical. No, a lot of them are going to be a lot of romance and just feel good vibes. Because I don't know, January was a lot of sad. I also have to watch more Oscar noms. So that's gonna be the goal basically. But yeah, thank you guys so much for clicking on this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. And I think I want to do an anticipated releases because I have a lot now. I was looking through all the movies that are going to come out this year, supposedly. Like, don't play with my feelings. If they don't come out this year, I'm going to actually be really so sad. Like, I can't stop playing games. But I have a lot of anticipated releases this year, so that'll probably be my next film-based video. But yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye!